You're watching the Phantoms Cup Final, only on Nick's Hockey Broadcast. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Game 2 of the 2026 Varsity Final between the Lehigh Valley Saints and the Northampton Konkrete. Northampton leads the series 1-0. Hello, everyone. Once again, I'm your play-by-play announcer, Nicholas Garfall. This is going to be a good one, possibly the biggest game of the entire Scholastic Series is about to get underway here at PPL Center, home of the Lehigh Valley Phantoms. And let's go over a brief recap of Game 1. Northampton won that game 2-1 in sudden death overtime. Shots on net were 42-24 in favor of the Konkrete Kids. They definitely had more chances on net overall, even just not looking at the numbers. They dominated points of possession, but the Saints kept at it. Both goaltending, Jackson 12 for the Saints, and Austin Wolf for Northampton played, I thought, valiantly in all fronts. Northampton started scoring in the first period from a goal of Jamison Dolan. Then the second period, Aiden Walter tied the game at 1. No goals were scored in the third period. And then exactly 35 seconds into sudden death overtime, the game was won on a wraparound attempt from Shane Grubbs. And Northampton with a 1-0 series lead and a chance to win their third Phantoms Cup. And also a chance to win their 6th Scholastic Championship since they won 3 others in 1997, 2003, and 2021 before they had the playoffs here at the home of the Phantoms. So it's definitely a big game for them. The Lehigh Valley Saints trying to keep their season alive. If the Konkrete Kids win, the season is over. Northampton wins their 3rd Phantoms Cup. If the Saints win, they will force a Game 3. It'll be a do-or-die Game 3 of a best-of-3 series taking place this Wednesday at 7. But that game is to be determined. We have to see if the Saints win first. And one metric I want to mention for the Saints, because for Lehigh Valley, this is the 4th time in 5 years they made the finals. The previous 3 times they made it, not only did the Saints lose all 3 times back in 2023, 2024, and last year, 2025. It's worth mentioning this. They have yet to win a single game in the finals in Game 2. All their wins have only happened in Game 1. 2022, they led 1-0 in the series against Southern Lehigh. Then they lost Games 2 and 3. 2024, they were up 1-0 over Northampton in that series, and they lost Games 2 and 3. Last year, in 2025, they were swept in 2 games to Bethlehem Nazareth. So it's definitely an achievement they wanted to do, because the Saints have never won a championship of any kind. They're trying to at least get back into this series. As the warm-ups for this game have just concluded, and this one is about to get underway. Again, sorry for the delay of this game. It was initially scheduled for 8:30. It's going to begin just a minute or 2 shy of 9 o'clock at this rate, but regardless, the game will start momentarily. Time for tonight's starting goaltending in net for the Lehigh Valley Saints. Once again, it will be number 32, Jackson Toll, 9-4-1. Goals against average 2.50, save percentage of .916. He saved 40 of 42 against Northampton in the Saints' loss 2-1 in overtime last game, which was on Thursday. So both of these teams are well rested. And in net for the Northampton Konkrete Kids is number 73, Austin Wolf. 7-0-1, goals against average 2.25, save percentage of .915. He also played very solid last game here in Game 1 of the finals. As the Saints have just left their net, having their little discussion there. Now they'll talk to the coaches. Northampton still all in the goal crease there. Looks like Desmond Murray is going to be the backup goalie tonight for Northampton. A bit surprising because their other backup goalies this year have been Aston Dreamock, who's going to play as a forward tonight, and they also had Ty Tomasic, who played several games as well. Actually, Dreamock did not play as a goalie this year. He's just listed as a goalie. He's played as a goalie for Northampton in the past. Northampton, number 1 seed, an overall record of 13-0-1. They've had no losses all year. Lehigh Valley Saints, a record of 9-4-1. If you missed the previous 2 games, Emmaus defeated Easton in the youth final, got their first Phantoms Cup championship. And then in the game after, Northampton's middle school team dominated over Nazareth 11-0. It's the last game of the night and potentially the last game of the season if Northampton reigns victorious. Come to think of it, for Northampton, this might be a miscellaneous stat, but when they wore their white uniforms when they won their last two Phantoms Cups in 2023, 2024, that might not matter if they win tonight, but they haven't won a Phantoms Cup with these jerseys. Game 2 in this best-of-3 series is about to commence. Here we go. Ron and Tatum for the draw. We're underway in Game 2. It's the Konkrete Kids and the Saints. Northampton trying to win their third Phantoms Cup and sixth Scholastic Championship. The Saints trying to keep their season alive and making a Game 3 on Wednesday. Again, the Saints have never won a Game 2 in the Scholastic Finals in their team's history. Hunter Jacoby to be exact, his younger brother just won a championship with Northampton's middle school team right before this. Ron had for a second. Tatum on the circle, trying to shovel it on through it, and a save is made by Wolf. Forgot to mention that Tatum caused a penalty late in the third period in Game 1. And actually, should have mentioned, I actually didn't say it's at the goal call at the time, but the game-winning overtime goal for Shane Grubbs was a power play goal. And the Tosi flips it on into the zone, and we'll get a line change now for the Saints. Saints defenseman Jack Piper, who's been out for most of the year due to his cancer diagnosis, is here once again. He's serving as a coach. I spoke to him during intermission in the middle of the Northampton middle school game, actually. Good to see him. And he's in good spirits, too, and he's doing much better in his treatment, too. I spoke to his mother, actually, before Game 1 last week. Save made by Jackson Toll off the side of the net, and he'll hold on. Actually, I didn't get a chance to talk to any of the players before the game. I actually been meaning to ask Jackson Toll, why did he change his jersey number? He wore 35 the last few years. He's now wearing 32. I think I said last game, it kind of looks like a lot like Jonathan Quick. I mean, because the Saints jersey, they are Kings colors, actually, LA Kings colors. And they'll shove it on the side. And that save by Toll makes another save there, and he'll hold on. And while he's on the ice, I actually want to mention a little story about Aiden Walter. So the other day, actually last Saturday, I went to go see the new Youngblood remake. I went to the Promenade AMC Theater, and me and my parents thought we were the only people in attendance to watch, but there was 200 people that came in to watch, and it happened to be Aiden Walter and his dad. So they happened to come in, and they wanted me to give a shout-out to Mrs. Walter, Aiden Walter's mother, watching this game tonight. So that was pretty cool, and yeah, they were talking about Game 2 a little bit afterwards, and we enjoyed the Youngblood remake. Admittedly, not as good as the original, but still a solid remake nevertheless. It was a little different. Go check it out if you can. Bloom chasing for it down. Dreamock, again, who's been a goaltender in his career. Actually, that was Dolan who had it. Thought that was 48. It was 43 for Northampton. Meanwhile, it's cleared into the zone there by Colton Vanicki. First year in the LVSHL, has an excellent season. 22 goals this year. Here's Grubbs, who had the overtime winner, lost possession. Duncan Mitchell-Tree almost got tangled up there, almost got hit on the side there as he tried to clear it on out. Angelino keeps up the pressure, and Walter takes it for Northampton. Actually, for the Saints, as I say. Walter tried to bust through on through. Picked up by Fegley, tipped over Wolf, and out of play. We saw Fegley's younger brother play for the Mais's youth team earlier today. Jackson Fegley. As Porter got a chance on goal there. And that shot will go off the high glass. Nathan Ruff try to get right back to the puck. He does. Angelina couldn't hold on to it. Ben Rupee almost had it, but he got tangled up with the stick of rough. Trocam trying to control in the slot. Can't. And Mitchell Tree will have to take it. He's wearing the New Jersey Bears pants, a team that he plays for in the Eastern Hockey League. As Becker clears it in for the K-Kids. Duncan Mitchell Tree will possess defensively. And it's taken away there by Braun. Braun! Back, forehand shot saved by Toll, and he'll squeeze with 13:26 to go in the period. Shots of that are 6-1 Northampton. Actually, another story I wanted to share since I was just talking about like the story with Aiden Walter. Just yesterday, I was in Northampton, and me and my parents went to the Northampton Diner where they filmed a recent movie there called The Hail Mary, which is pretty cool. And I tried what was called the Northampton Burger. It was really good. If you guys are ever in the Northampton area, check out the Northampton Diner. Nice place, good food. I'll probably stop by there again if I'm ever in the area. Repitz got checked there by Tatum. Zoe Music backhands one as she was avoiding the reach of Derek Rodba. Recent pass goes to Thomas Rupee to Tatum. Too many Konkrete kids around him. Becker will skate defensively. Tipped off the stick of Thomas Rupee. Saints clear back into the zone. Austin Wolf will have to control. And I think it was an icing, actually. I didn't even hear the whistle. Sometimes if there's a faint whistle, I miss it because I'm wearing a headset on my ears. It's covering my my ears or my hearing from picking that up. Saints still only have one shot on net so far. Several minutes into the period. Trying to clear it off the boards there was Bedovitz. And racing after is Nitosi on a 1-on-2. Nitosi ripping one. Pat save by Austin Wolf. Another chance for Nitosi, and it goes behind the net. Rodba feeds the Braun. Taken by Walter, but not for long. Braun retakes it for the K-Kids. Back against Braun. Nice move around the defender. Braun, but he lost an edge. Trying to make a centering pass. Picks it back on the corner. Backhand shot. And Toll covers the left post and makes the stop. And back to what I was saying earlier about, I'm trying to find it here, Vanicki, and how good he's been this year. He's a rookie he has 22 goals on the year. He's a young kid for the Lehigh Valley Saints, 15 years of age, a member of the Palmyra Black Knights and former member of the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Knights and Lehigh Valley Phantoms youth. I was going to say, because, I know I haven't been with the Scholastic all this year, but there's a lot of players I remember from over the years. And when I saw his name first listed to put on the roster sheet in my Phantoms Cup stat pack, I was like, I've never heard of this kid before. And I see his numbers for his other teams and juniors and youth, and I see why he's been so explosive this year. Tremock for the face-off. Radware shot off the stick of Toll and deflected off the boards. Another chance for the point save there by Toll. Off of Blaze Netterostek. Playing on defense tonight for Northampton. Tremock and Walter for the face-off. Won by 55 in white and black for the Saints. Grubb is on the point. Keeps it in the zone. It's been all Northampton so far. No score, but they lead the shots category 10-2. Netterostek behind his goal. Again, Northampton did dominate, or they did have more shots on net over the Saints in game one, but they didn't dominate throughout the whole time. Like, it was a pretty it almost looked like a balanced game if you didn't look at the numbers. But Northampton has just been taking complete control of the shots on net. But still, all that matters is the amount of goals, and we have none for either side thus far. And Toll will make a save there. And now the Saints will take this opportunity to get a fresh batch of players after they got a little rest for a few minutes there. Enrico and Trokim here on the right dot, and coming off the bench now is Ben Rupee to join his teammates. Here's a shot from the angle, saved by Toll as he stops Carl Kuckran. He has 1 goal on the year. We called this number a few times last game. Kind of a depth option for Northampton. Face off one, Konkrete another chance, trickled off the pad briefly there of Toll. And Rupee, Landon Murray chopping after it. Saints try to forehand it out, and they will, but they won't get possession. Becker, skating behind his goal. We'll move it to neutral ice on the left wing. Right wing pass, it'll be running into there by trying to see that it was. That was Andrico. Grubbs off of a stick in front. Music trying to get this off the board. She will, but Braun keeps it onside for Northampton. Ian Braun with a shot deflected off of Music as a forehand one to the corner. Trokim getting it to the dot as the Saints chase it down. Trokim has it on the wing. Coming in over the line on the wing. He looks for some help here. He drops it back. It'll be held on there by Vedovic. Shoots from long range and a save by Austin Wolf. 10 minutes to go in the first. No score in game 2 of the varsity finals. In this best-of-3 series, Northampton leads the series 1-0 with a chance to win their 3rd Phantoms Cup and 6th Scholastic Championship. Vedovic almost ran to the body there of Repitz. Repitz picked it up for a moment, but now will be taken by Parker Tatum. Tatum on the right side. Almost bodied there by Becker. Nathan Rupp trying to reach for it, but he ran to Dominic Natosi. Natosi very experienced in the playoffs these last few years. Centering for Tatum, stuffed there by Austin Wolf as he covered the left side of the goal. Very well there. Thomas Rupee off the boards, trying to get to Bloom on the point. It got too far from him. Actually, it went off his stick. He couldn't hold on to it. He gets it back now. Vedovic to Natosi at center with Rupee and Bloom on the wings. Natosi going behind the net, right into the stick of Jacoby. Jacoby possesses here now for the kids. Off the boards, Natosi shovels it on back. He made a nice play there to Tatum. Tatum almost giving it onside. Good stick made by Jacoby. Back comes Northampton on 3-on-2. Jacoby centering, blocked by his stick in front. That went off of Mitchell-Tree. Now it is Rattler. Rattler in front off of a Saint stick in the right dot. And Natosi clears it to the right corner, or left corner, I should say. Jacoby ripping on by, nearly screened her, and Toll made a save. Couldn't find it at first. Saints cleared down, but this will be an icing against Lehigh Valley. A lot of action there as both teams get a breather, although for the Saints, they cannot change lines here. As Northampton, their school is trying to get their 3rd Phantoms Cup. They already have 2 this year. Rebound in front of the crossbar. It stays out. Northampton says is in. The official says not in this case. Looking at the replay here, Dreamlock got a chance on goal. And then the Konkrete Kids got a follow-up try in the slot. I think Dolan was the last one to touch. I'm trying to look in the replay here. I think Dolan was the last one to get a shot. It ricocheted up into the air. Gravity brought it down, and it hit the top pipe. And it remains scoreless here at PPL Center. In for Walter, and Wolf with the stop. Walter trying to score in back-to-back finals games. As it remains scoreless here. And for those of you watching this for the first time, I add a scoreboard on the screen on the top right corner when I add the videos later. I can't add it during the game. The only score I can put that's live is in the comment section. I update that after each goal. It's scoreless right now in the first period with a tad less than 8 minutes to go in this one. Here's Walter in the slot, drifting to the right dot. Walter risking one, saved by Wolf. No rebound there. And now this puck is behind the goal. Walter chipped it free. Grubbs He's one of many players with Phantom's youth in his career. Skates it on out. Braun to Derek Rodbaugh on the left wing. Rodbaugh looking for a pass to Braun, but he couldn't reach it to him. Repitz on the right corner. Repitz will wait. Hesitates to make the pass. Off the pad there of Toll. He was ready for it. And the Saints get it out of their zone, but this will be another icing. Still scoreless with 7:04 remaining in the first period. The shots on goal are now 16-6 Northampton. And looking back to game one of the varsity final, I mean, it's rare enough that we have games to go to overtime in the LVSHL, especially for varsity. But usually the last two games I went to OT was in 2021 and 2023. But both cases, a team in those games had a chance to win a championship. But in last game, it was just the winner would take a 1-0 lead in the series. And funny thing is, or ironic thing is, heading into the overtime, I forgot to mention this during that broadcast, that Northampton was 0-2 in playoff overtimes. But they now have a playoff overtime win now. Centering for Petrolkin, and that would not go. The pass was made there initially by Luke Anastasiou, but they never got a shot on that. Trokim in the slot. Backhand pass, Music on the right point. Trokim has it back on the corner. And the Konkrete Kids defense will forehand it back out through center, but it's blocked by the stick of Angelino. And now we'll get a line change for these Saints. Grubbs, pressured by Nitosi. Grubbs will skate it on back. He's on the wing here. Line change for Northampton. Grubbs, the only player from the last line still out there. And Dolan, actually, I beg my pardon, that's not Dolan, that's Radler who had it for a second there. Radar who had it. Radler wears 71, he has the puck right now. Radar wears 40, he had a hat trick for Northampton's JV team in their championship game last Thursday. Here's Radler looking for a shot, and that goes wide. Fremont picks it up. To the point for Ruff. Ruff with the wrist shot, tipped on goal, and that went wide of Toll. Dolan checked on his side by Tatum, and the Saints retake it. Nitosi flips on back, but Becker kept it in. Vedovitz. Noah backhand pass will unintentionally go to Nathan Ruff with a wrist shot, and that's blocked out. Racing after is Thomas Rupi. Rupi tried to center for Bloom. It went off his skates, couldn't get control. Nitosi on the corner. Bloom gets taken down, and Northampton retakes it with numbers 3-on-1 developing if they can hurry. 3-on-2. It's Ruff, a shot blocked, picked up by Dolan, and a save by Toll. Hope you guys are enjoying this game at home or whatever you're streaming this or watching. It's technically, this is not a, well, actually, it is a live stream. What am I saying? I was about to say it's not. And for those of you watching this later, always been a pleasure broadcasting the LVSHL, and I said this the other day, I'll say it again. I thank the Lehigh Valley Phantoms for allowing me the privilege of broadcasting the Phantoms Cup for the 4th straight year. It is a pleasure, and it's fun to watch these kids play. It's Robinson, a shot that was deflected, but Wolf will cover up off of it with 4:30 to go in the period. The game resumes. Dolan hits it. Actually, that's Jacoby who hits it off the glass. Mitchell Tree at center. The right side. Trying to cling it on free. I think he was trying to pass it to Robinson, if not past him. Jake Fretz on the boards. Scooped up by Mitchell Tree. Body there by Braun on a legal checking play. Rodbus centering for Braun. That play was broken up. Now Braun retakes possession. Lightford. Braun on the corner. Mitchell Tree trying to go after him. He gets checked from behind. And meanwhile, this puck is tipped in front of the blue paint. Toll reacted quickly. And the Saints goaltender has got it. And with this stoppage of play, we'll get another line change, this time only for the Saints. Doesn't look like Northampton's going to make any changes for the time being. They'll stick with the same line. They're Some of their top players are on the ice right now. Repitz, Braun, and Rodba. Frets to Trokim. He'll race for it on the wing. Saints try to get some chances going here. They're being outshot 18-8. 3:40 to go in the first. Still no score. They're looking for Ben Rupee on the play on the wing. Lightford got to it first for Northampton. Jacoby on the corner, checked by Fegley. And Derek Rodba will shoot it on in. Again, I mentioned game one. I remember watching his older brother Andrew play in previous finals for Northampton for Varsity. I think I saw him at the game, actually, game one the other day. I'm not sure if he's here tonight. He might be, to watch his younger brother play. Frets to Music. Picked up by Dolan in front. And now it is Jacoby, a shot tipped. And a chance for Rodba, and tall guy across to the right side of net just in time to make the big save. Frets clearing it through center. Nobody there for the Saints to pick it up. No icing as Wolf makes the save. Line change for the white and black. Grubbs at center will move past the blue line. Again, he had the overtime winner in game one after a wraparound attempt goal. A wraparound attempt he had that ended up as a goal. Dolan checked by Tatum. Rupee off the boards. Here's Natosia with good speed, trying to get an edge, walking on net. He runs into the goaltender, Wolf. Fortunately, it looks like everyone's going to be okay as the net comes off its moorings. Natosia was just trying to cut on the angle of that defender, but he ran out of room. I mean, Wolf was covering that right side of the net regardless, and Wolf is a pretty sizable goaltender we've seen here. They'll have the face-off on the offside dot with 2:07 to go in the period. Off this time, Vedovich will clear it down. Pad save made by Wolf. Bloom trying to get to it for the Saints. Vedovich will get to it for him. Natosi almost tripped up there. Tatum will back him one unintentionally. Give it to Grubbs. Thomas Rupee trying to get the puck out of him. Konkrete from the blue line clears it into the corner. Bloom will take it here for the Saints. Natosi chips it to Tatum. Actually, trying to get to Rupee. Then he gives it to Tatum. Nice move, Tatum. Tatum on the wing. And that tipped wide. Almost went out of play. It stays in. And Murray back into there for Northampton. Tatum almost had it there. Walter did as well. Vedovich will bring it into the Northampton zone. Vedovich to the right die. Lost possession. Braun got it his way. Last minute to play in the first period in game two of this best-of-3 series. Danicki with a wrist shot. Fired it right into the glove of Wolf. And stops play with 52.4 remaining in this first of 3 regulation periods. But a pretty entertaining scoreless game thus far as Northampton still is out shooting the Saints. Right now, 18-12. Rough. And trying to get a shot at it, there was Van Icky. They scramble in the crease. Wolf has the puck, and he gets the whistle. Now they have this on the left up. Walter and Braun for the tie-up. One defensively by Braun. Ruff hits it off the boards to the left point for Frets, and that shot blocked down by Northampton. Breakaway possibly for Derek Rodba. Mitchell trying to catch up to him, and he made a big check there. He got a shot on goal, but Mitchell with a great defensive effort preventing him from getting a better chance. If Mitchell did not catch up to him, I mean, Rodba perhaps could have waited to get a little closer to the net. Walter, nice play. This is Van Icky on the wing. Ran to there by Becker. 14 seconds to go in the period. As we're still scoreless. Falling down there was Vanicki, 5 seconds left. Northampton 3-on-1 with a little time left. Becker lost the puck. Robinson takes it. We're scoreless after one at PPL Center in Game 2 of this best-of-3 series of the 2026 Varsity Phantoms Cup Final. We'll be back for the second period. Second period between the Saints and Konkrete Kids in Game 2 of this finals. It's about to get underway. It is scoreless after 2. And shots on net are 19-14 in favor of the Konkrete Kids. Northampton dominated possession for most of the first period, but the Saints got their fair share of chances in the more in the last quarter of the first period, or more like the second half of it, really. But they're trying to stay in it, as it's still scoreless here in Game 2. Music backheads one to Fretz. Robinson on the boards. Dreamock keeps it onside. It's blocked down by the Saints. Vanicki on the wing. Falls down. No one pass. They score! Unbelievable! Aiden Walter! Vanicki! What a play! 1-0 Saints! Vanicki, I was talking about him earlier. This kid's got talent. What a play. He fell down. He passed it behind the net. Oh, my goodness. That is crazy. And Walter gets it in, his second goal of the finals. Wow. That's got to be one of the best plays we've seen in the Phantoms Cup this year. It has to be. Has to be. Walter, what a finals he has had. What a season this youngster has had, too. 2 goals in the last 2 games. He's now on an 8-game point streak. Tie game! Repeats! Just like that, the Konkrete Kids remove the Saints' lead on the scoreboard. Jackson Rippets gives the momentum to Northampton right back. And just like that, the game is tied at 1. What a turn of events. I was just saying how it's been a pretty competitive, no-score game. We have Vanicki with that great play falling down, and we almost have another goal there, I almost thought. And Walter scores, and then Jackson Repitz with the goal in front of the net of Told. So for, just because I'm a little behind here, Walter with his 11th of the year, and Repitz just scoring now his 17th. For Repitz, last time he scored a goal was in the season finale. Actually, not season finale. I'm sorry. He scored twice against Parkland in the semifinals, and no points in Game 1. But chaos ensuing here in Game 2. Great play for one team. A quick response from the other results in this 1-1 tie. For Repitz. Dolan on the corner. Tatum scooped it from him, but he got rattled by Rattler. Pun intended there. It's stuck there on the corner, waiting for it to come out. Finally does. And it slithers to Becker. Grubbs defensively. Skates back past or actually right next to the Saints bench. Becker brings it over the line with Rattler behind him, as well as Dreamock and others. Rattler in front, blocked by the stick of Tatum. And Tatum will hesitate to clear, hits it off the board, taken by Grubbs. I think he was looking for Natosi there. Bloom at center, avoiding the sticking body of Rattler. He got hit by Grubbs, as well as he was hit by 2 defenders there, as he brought the puck over the line. Becker's pass will go to Grubbs. Dolan, in over the line he comes. Dolan on the left dot, shooting one, blocked there by Bloom. Ruff on the point. Off the boards behind the net it goes. Bloom off the corner again to Rupee. Slight line change for Northampton. Austin Wolf will sweep one to center ice, blocked by something. I think it went off a stick. And they're going to call it a hand pass and stop play with 13:50 to go in the second. The game is tied at 1 apiece. Actually, not season, I just want to mention this ahead of time. We're not at the end of the period yet, but a tradition for the varsity finals is that after the second period, we go to an actual intermission, an ice cut. The Zamboni will come out to clean up the ice for about a 20-minute intermission, but just wanted to mention that ahead of time. But we're still a bit of a few miles away to the end of the second period with 13 and a half to go in it. Crazy start to the period, and say at the very least. Here's Vanicki on the wing after that great assist he had. Looking for another one for Walter, and he missed it wide. All of a sudden, Vanicki and Walter seem to have this chemistry, and I think he was looking for him there again. Robinson checked there by Becker. On the boards. Enrico trying to escape away. He'll go to Angelino. Instead, backhand pass looking for Dolan. Becker will take it. Becker on the angle. Centering there for Angelino. Throwing across his toe. Looking like Dominic Hasek there for a second. And where's the whistle? We finally get it, and play is called to a halt. Walter and Mitchell-Tree will exit the ice for a line change. Saints win the draw defensively. Ben Rupee on the boards. Here's Fegley. He's got Trokim on the wing. Fegley cut it on in. He missed it wide. Fegley tipped by Braun. Music on the point. Fanned on the shot. He tried to get it back. Backhanded to the dot and taken by Jacoby. Here's Rippets, the recent goal scorer. Rippets to the angle. Waits. Holds behind the net. He goes. Trying to center. He was looking for Rodball off the stick. Now it's Braun. Saved by Toll. He shuts the door and makes the stop with his pads. Now it is Fegley tangled up there with Rippets. And I think Northampton's fans are looking for a penalty as Fegley's arm was around the neck of Rippets. Jacoby ripping one. Glove save by Toll. I'll tell you what, for Toll, I noticed this last year in the 2025 Phantoms Cup playoffs, he is very flexible. I think there's another reason why he probably compares. I mean, if he does like Jonathan Quick, it would make sense because Jonathan Quick, when he played and is at his best for the LA Kings, he's currently with the New York Rangers. Very flexible, very athletic, especially doing the splits. Like, I'm not saying Toll can do it as well as Quick, but he does tend to do that at times. Dreamer ripping a shot, pad save by Toll as the puck goes to the corner. Dolan trying to whack at a rebound, but he was not able to get the puck to the goal. Grubbs on the corner. Ricochets to Rattler. Mitchell-Tree keeps it just onside. This puck ricochets, stays in play. Tatum couldn't hold on to it. Tatum gets it back, almost got a shot. Tatum still trying to maintain possession. Now he's got it here for the Saints. Centering there for a Rupee back. It's off the pad in the pipe. He got the right post. And it stays out. Tatum lost an edge there and possession of the puck as Grubbs clears it for Northampton. Bouncing knuckle puck goes all the way down for an icing against Northampton. And we have some conversations with some of the Saints and Northampton players with the linesman there. Not sure what exactly for. Grubbs on the corner, ran into by Robinson. Ron backhands one, deflects. Gravity brings the puck down. Chipped off the boards once more. And this was Robinson, who had it for a second there. Fretz. Back to Robinson. Braun was trying to reach for it, but the puck wasn't in his reach. Anderson cleared it in for Northampton. Braun racing for it. Fretz got to it first. Music. Off the right boards. Grubbs trying to connect to it. And this will be no icing on the Saints. 10.5 to go in the period. Tied at 1 apiece. Shots on goal out. 25-16. Konkrete Kids. Aiden Walter with the goal for the Saints. Jackson Rippets with the goal for Northampton. Fretz hit the pipe. We had a puck hit the right post earlier. Now it hits the left. Puck bounces off the back part of the goal. Braun to the point. Music from the right side. That shot's patted down by Austin Wolf. This is Grubbs at center. Avoids the body of Vanicki with Rodba. Trying to drop it to him. He'll get it to Rodba. Edovich trying to forecheck the puck away from him, or defensively, I should say. Fegley lost it. Braun on the corner. Goes to Trokin, blocked by a skate. And now it's taken by Dolan. Rodba in on net. Save made by Jackson Toll. He holds its ground, makes the stop. 9.5 to go in the second period. We're still tied at 1 apiece. This faceoff will be taken by the Lehigh Valley Saints. Now back to the defense for Northampton. Angelino. I beg my pardon, that's actually Becker. Becker wears 61, Angelino wears 51, and Toll will make the safe play and cover up as the puck landed right to his glove. Saying earlier, if the Saints win, Game 3 will be Wednesday puck drop at 7 p.m. I'll be here for that if we have Game 3. Game 2, as of right now, is still deadlocked at 2 apiece. Saints trying to keep the season alive. Northampton trying to win their 3rd Phantoms Cup and 6th Scholastic Championship. It is Mitchell Tree with Fegley and others helping him there on in the way, and a glove stop by Austin Wolf. And actually, one thing I wanted to mention, because I noticed there was an error in my roster sheets for Austin Wolf. So I had it listed, he wears 73. He's wearing number 70. I believe I've heard that, I forget which Wolf brother, because there's a bunch of players from the Wolf family that have been playing, ironically, as goalies over the years. I forget which Wolf brother that jersey belongs to, but Austin, I think he's borrowing one of his older brother's jerseys. It's to save a little money. I mean, it's the same name spelling. Playing for Northampton again, like the last one, so might as well save a little cash with that. Makes sense. Becker clears to the right wing at center, but not past the red line. Rodbug trying to control in the neutral zone, couldn't hold on to it. Mitchell Tree backhands one. And he'll go to, that is, trying to see who that is. I think that is Parker Tatum. Couldn't see his number for a second. And he'll cause an icing on the Saints. 8:31 remains on the clock. And actually, I want to mention this statistic here since I'm seeing it. The Konkrete Kids this year have a record of 4-0 over the Saints, regular season and playoffs. So the Saints have never beaten Northampton this year, actually. And they kept it tight all game 1, and it's been a pretty competitive game here so far here in game 2. Braun backhands one, taken by Tatum on an interception. Tatum, toe drag shot blocked down by Braun. He out once to the wing. Derek Rodba off to the races. He's got a break. Rodba backhand, saved by Toll as he does the Jonathan Quick splits once again. I was talking about it earlier, how athletic Toll can be as he's playing in his second finals. It's technically the third finals he's been to, although he's starting this year. He started for the Saints last year in 2025, When the Saints made it in 2024 playing against Northampton, he was the backup goaltender. Starting those games at the time was Michael Heitzler, who was also a pretty solid netminder for what he is. And when the Saints made the finals back in 2022, they had good old Aiden Gamitter starting in that series against the Southern Lehigh Spartans. Another solid goalie they've had in their history. Murray, Konkrete tried to pick it up. He couldn't hold on. Van Icky at center, trying to get to Walter. He'll go to Robinson. He has it on the wing. Robinson to Van Icky off a strange bounce, trying to drift around a few players. Took a shot as he fell down. I mean, we saw him make that great pass earlier. And Fritz with the shot from the slides, deflected by a Northampton defender. It went off someone's shin. Fritz to the left corner there. Van Icky trying to set something up here. Center in there. Robinson hit the pipe again. Oh, man. The Saints have hit iron 3 straight times in this period. Bad luck for the Saints. They're getting their chances. They're beating the goaltender, just not the net. Venovich on the wing, deflected, that goes off the netting, off the stick of Lightford. 6:51 remains in this second period, as we're still deadlocked at 1 apiece here in Game 2 of the Varsity Finals. Trokim and Dreamock for the tie-up, won by Northampton. Grubbs, forehanding one down, looking for Dolan, and it's patted down by Toll. He had to cover up quickly. He actually, I guess, wasn't able to fully cover. Dolan was trying to chop after the puck, but the Saints goaltender got the whistle. And I don't think we're having any penalties come up from that as they break up that little confrontation there. 6 banging on the boards from the Northampton bench. Plenty of fans here at PPL Center, seeing a lot of LVSHL at Northampton alumni watching this game here in person. Going to a good friend of mine, McCray Ross. And we'll have an icing here on the Saints. For Lehigh Valley, they're hoping to avoid being swept in the finals for the second year in a row, as they lost in 2 games to Bethlehem Nazareth last year. Although I will say, like, compared to that series, the games they've had, at least so far against Northampton, Game 1, and so far Game 2, it's been more competitive than that series against Bethlehem Nazareth. Dolan took it away from Trokim. On that defensive read. Mitchell tried to kick it with his skate to keep it onside. He couldn't. Fegley will forehand it in. Here's Ashton Dreamock at center. He's got Dolan in front of him. Dreamock shooting. Glove save by Toll. He'll stop play. Tad less than 6 minutes left in this second period. The shots on goal are now 28-21 Northampton. And for Northampton, I know I was saying earlier, if they win, it'll be their 6th championship. All their championship years are as follows: 1997, 2003, 2021, 2023, and 2024. The last 2 times they've made the finals, they have won. Well, actually, I should say the last 3 times they made the finals, they've won. 2-on-1 developing here for Northampton. It's Repitz with Rodbod. Nice play! Rodbod in front! Oh, how did Braun not finish it? Great twisting play by Repitz. Rodbod unable to capitalize, and Braun had the best chance out of all 3 of them, and Toll makes the save as the puck ricochets to his net. That would have been a highlight reel goal if the puck was scored after that great pass from Repitz. I still can't get over that amazing play by Connor Vinicki, which resulted in the first goal for the Saints, scored by Aiden Walter. Off the draw there for Dolan. That shot's blocked. Becker from the left point. Music chases it down. Dreamock got to it first as he kicks it to the corner. Dolan Holds on here to Nathan Ruff on the right point. Ruff forehanding on back there for Rattler. It's Dreamok trying to get a backhand shot, but the puck was far from him. Back to the left point, it's Becker flipping on back to behind the net. Rattler with Fretz in front of him. Rattler, Nathan Ruff on the right point. Waits, Ritzing one, blocked by Thomas Rupee, and back to center it comes. 1-on-2 for the Saints. Dominic Nitosi on the Northampton left corner, centering off the stick of Becker. Looking for some fortune there. Fritz with a shove on the slot, blocked down by Dolan. And Beckham's stolen for Northampton. He's got Rattler on a 2-on-2. To Rattler on net. Save made by Jackson Toll. What a game the Saints goaltender has had thus far. I think he was thinking his crossbar there. He tapped it. I don't think the crossbar made a save there, but the iron is always a goalie's best friend. I think he was just tapping it out of reflex. Puck comes free from the right corner. Music trying to chase for it down. She tipped it and will be taken there by Dolan. Dolan a shot from long range, saved by Toll, unable to cover. Tipped across to Dolan, couldn't get a shot as the puck keeps bouncing up a few sticks and skates. Players for both sides lose track of where it is. They finally find it. 4 minutes to go in the second period. We're still tied at 1 here in Game 2 of the 2026 Varsity Phantoms Cup Final. Fretz hits it off the glass. Clears it for the Saints, but will be an icing. Both teams will get a rest, at least for now. We'll have the face off on the right dot, Jackson Toll. Ender and Cohen, Walter. And the Konkrete kids take it. Ender and Cohen will get a backhand shot. That misses the Saints goaltender and net. And Icky on the wing. He's got Robinson and Walter. Drops the trailer pass to Walter, makes a strange bounce, and Wolf makes the save. It went off of a Northampton defender. I think it went off of Jacoby. I'm going to relook at the replay here now just to see who exactly it deflected off. Walter will go with this face-up, and now we play on here. It did go off of Jacoby. That would have been fortunate in a good and bad way for both teams. Angelino lost his stick. He's looking for a penalty. Raider lost it. Walter ahead for Van Icky. Couldn't hold on. Mitchell Tree as he shot the puck off of Leifert. 3 minutes to go in the second period. We're still tied at 1 apiece. Andrew Cohen, a 1-on-3, shoots, deflects off of Mitchell Tree, goes off the high glass, but stays in play. Robinson, and Icky with Walter behind him as a trailer. These two clearly have shown chemistry in this second period. They might have had chemistry throughout the whole year. I wouldn't really know since I haven't been with us last week until these playoffs this season. Here's Walter, 2-on-2 with Nitosi. Took a shot, net glove save by Wolf. And a halted play with 2:20 left in this second period. The shots on goal are now 31-23. Konkrete Kids playing technically as the road team today. Now we play on. Trokim trying to scoop it up. It'll go to Braun. Derek Rothbach. Here's Braun. He's got room. Braun! And he caught iron. More iron. I mean, we had the Saints hit the pipe 3 times. Now Northampton gets their share. And goes off the left post. And when I say left and right post, I mean like left and right post from the goalie's perspective. From like their view side. Fegley centering off the stick of Nitosi. Hits it off the boards for Fegley. Trokim on the corner. Grubbs trying to get it out as well. 1.5 to go in the period. Ian Braun. Derek Rodba on the wing. Gaining the zone here. Rodba behind the net. Waiting, centering in front for Grubbs. And that's fun. Another chance, Grubbs. And that gets to the goaltender. Toll. He'll hold on. Grubbs trying to score his second of the finals there. Again, he scored the overtime winner in game 1. And the other thing, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in Game 1 is how Grubbs also played well in Northampton's JV championship game hours prior to Game 1 on Thursday. Tatum on the corner. Dolan couldn't control. Vanicki trying to get possession. He can't. Nitosi shooting one. That's blocked there by Becker. Vanicki centering, and it goes off of Dreamock. Last minute to play in the second period. Dolan with the defender right in front of him, trying to cut on through. Shoots one, saved by Toll, and he'll stop play. 50.6 seconds remains on the clock in this period. Dreamock for the offensive face-off for Northampton. Saints clear it on out. Becker, somewhat checked from behind by Vanicki. And this bounces off the right corner for Northampton. Grubbs, lifting one to center ice. Gravity brings it down. It goes to the Saints defenders. Bedovitz, off the left boards, trying to connect for Nitosi. And an icing will be called here on the Saints. I was a bit surprised they called that too. Some of the Saints players questioned that, but it was actually, looking at it now, it was the right call. 25.8 seconds remains on the Jumbotron here. The new Jumbotron actually at PPL they installed last summer in its first season here. They had the same one here since the team moved here in 2014, but they have since changed it. Off the draw, and that shot goes wide of Toll as he reflexed it with his right leg. Grubbs, Robinson, trying to forehand it out. He can't. Grubbs intercepts the play. 13 seconds left. Here's Repich, broke his sticky glass shot, and Toll with the save. Rod ball on the rebound. Nice save, Toll. 3 seconds left. Saints will kill off the clock. Grubbs trying to give him a last chance. He can't. We are tied at 1 apiece after 1. The goals coming from Aiden Walter and Jackson Repich. Shots on net 35-24 in favor of the Konkrete kids. We're going to go to second intermission. The Zamboni will be out on the ice momentarily. I'll actually move my camera up so you guys can see the clock for when the third period will begin. There you go. And we'll be back for the third period here in Game 2. Can't wait. Third period in Game 2 of the 2026 Phantoms Cup Final in Varsity is about to get started. We are tied at 1 apiece. If you're just joining us, I'll give you a little recap of this game. Actually, I'll say the shots on that first. It's 35-24 in favor of Northampton. It was no score after 1. Early into the second period, Connor Vanicki, as he fell down an amazing centering pass in front of the blue paint of the Northampton goaltender, Austin Wolf. And Aiden Walter scores his second goal of the finals to give his team a 1-0 lead, but that lead did not last long. Northampton tied the game less than 30 seconds later from Jackson Repich on the side of the net, which has resulted in this 1-1 tie. Jackson Toll and net for the Saints has been good, but the Saints, I feel like, have made mistakes in the neutral zone and in their defensive zone at times. I mean, both teams, you could argue, have done that at times, but considering what is at stake right now for their season, they got to do everything they can to stay alive here. It's a best-of-3 series. This is Game 2. Northampton leads the series 1-0. If the Konkrete kids win, the LVSHL season comes to an end. Northampton would win their 3rd Phantoms Cup and 6th LVSHL championship. If the Saints win, they live to fight another day, with Game 3 being this Wednesday. Biggest period of the entire season, and perhaps the last period for seniors for both teams. They understand what's at stake here. The fans do. I do. The Phantoms do. And here we go. And actually, there are still Saints players in the tunnel coming out a little bit late. I see at least 3 skaters, and here we go. So the Saints start the period a little bit shorthanded. I'm sure they'll get some reinforcements for their lines after after we have our first whistle of the third. I see Mitchell Tree, Van Inke, and Thomas Rupi. They're a little late. Now they're heading on out because there's another way for them to get to the bench to go through another locker room. So that's what they're heading to right now. Scores! Jacoby tipped in front. Northampton, 29 seconds into the third, have their first lead of the hockey game. Hunter Jacoby, goal number 5 of the year. A huge one. Northampton, their 36th shot on net gives them their first lead of game 2. Last time Jacoby's score was on January 12th against Emmaus. He had an assist in the semifinal game against Parkland. That's the second point of the playoffs. And now the reinforcements for the Saints have arrived. Don't know if that would have been part of their first line anyway, but the Saints, for those who were a little bit late, I'm willing to bet feel a little bad, but I'm not suggesting those guys that were not on the bench would have been on the ice for the first line, but even so, I can understand if they have some mixed feelings of what has just occurred. But Northampton is up 2-1 early into the third period. Rattler's shot hits the glass and misses it wide. Rattler on the corner. Northampton with momentum and the lead. Rattler holds up, back of the angle, saved by Jackson Toll, and he covers the rebound. Those of you watching right now, thank you for joining the broadcast here on Nick's Hockey Broadcast as the Konkrete kids trying to win the Phantoms Cup of 2026. And also, if you didn't hear earlier, if their varsity team does win, 3 out of the 4 teams for the Northampton would have won a Phantoms Cup. They score! Ian Braun off the draw! Top shelf and in! The Konkrete kids, 2 goals, a minute 30 into the third, are up 3-1, and they have scored 3 unanswered tallies. Braun with his 19th of the year. And first of the playoffs as well. And all the momentum in the world is now going in favor of Northampton. Still 15.5 to go in this hockey game. Tatum on the wing. Trying to rush on through. Lost possession of the puck there. Trying to keep it onside there was Trokem, and that puck will ricochet and go right into the safety netting. So Rapids with the first goal for Northampton, and now we've had 2 goals a minute 30 into the third from Jacoby and Braun. Things have shifted quickly here. I mean, again, Northampton has had more chances on goal overall. Keep in mind, by the end of their scores, 1 goal game. It's Walter once again. What a finals this young man has had, the senior from Genesis Hockey. Saints get on the board. They trail 3-2. Seriously, Aiden Walter, man, he has been an absolute monster in the finals these last 2 games. He had that first goal from the assist from Connor Van Inke, and then he scores that one, getting it past Austin Wolf. 3 goals in the finals, now 2 today, 1 in game 1. He's also now on an 8-game point streak, too. Walter scoring his 11th, his 12th of the year. Well, I was going to say, right before Walter scored, is talking about the shots on net, which is now 40-25 Northampton. Keep in mind, for Northampton, last game they had 42 total shots. by the end of sudden death OT. So their offense definitely, at least by the numbers, have been playing better. And I mean, they've already scored more goals in game 2 here than they scored in game 1, in which they only scored twice. They scored the opening goal and then the overtime winning goal in game 1. But the Saints finally, after allowing 3 unanswered, get back in the hockey. Connor Vanicki dancing on in, and Wolf covers the right side of the net and stands his ground. Man, this kid could play. Actually, I was talking to Aiden Walters' dad during intermission. I was asking him, like, does your son and Vanicki have good chemistry? Because I could see here just in this game, and he was telling me, yeah, they've been playing so well all year. And Vanicki is a sophomore. He's 15 years of age. So if he stays on the Saints, he'll be a talent they'll have for many years to come, or at least the next few years. Vaguely in for Tatum, stuff there, and a save made by Austin Wolf. Derek Rodbot trying to get it through center. He can't. Braun falls down off his own balance. Bedovic over the line with Fagley trying to guide it to him. It's poke check there by Wolf. Centering there, pinball off of the defender, Becker, and Wolf uses his glove to stop play. This has been a heck of a game. I will say this. I mean, I've seen... this is my 5th finals now, covering for the LVSHL, 4th with the Saints, ironically. I'll tell you what, I mean, game 1 was really good. This game 2 has been entertaining stuff. And who knows how this is going to end here. Tatum centers it through the slot, but nobody there for either team to get a play out of it. Here's Nitosi on the corner. Trying to center it, blocked by Braun. Tatum has it here. Few checks on the boards now. Nennerstick hits it off the right side. And now it's Becker over the line with Repitz and Rodba. Versus a shot saved by Toll. 13 minutes to go in regulation. Northampton leads 3-2 here in game 2 of the varsity finals. The 2026 Phantoms Cup. Rodba drops it to Braun, signing that play for Repitz, but he couldn't hold on. Braun on the angle here. Looks at his options. Skates to the point. And he'll bring it back to center as he's pressured by Figley. Figley lost it. Here's Derek Rodba with Braun on 2-on-2, trying to get around the defender. Mitchell Tree. Rodba! And that goes over the net of Toll. Figley will have to get to it. Walter, as we had a delayed offside on Northampton, wiped off. Dolan scoops it here for Northampton. Forehands it in off the pads there of Toll. Saints clear it down. This will be an icing against them. I will say this for the Saints, because I know I was saying earlier that they are 0-3 in game 2 of the varsity finals. This is, this is the closest game 2 they've had in the finals since 2022. I remember in my second game ever broadcasting game 2 against Southern Lehigh, they ended up losing that game 5-3, the last goal being an empty netter, but that was a close game to the very end. Music with the shove on the point, tipped towards the goal, and Dolan scoops it up. And that goes out of play. So back to what I was saying, yeah, that game against Southern Lehigh 2022 was the closest game 2 they've had prior to this one. 2024, in game 2 against Northampton, they won the first game, then they were blown out in the second. And then last year, they were outplayed to Bethlehem Nazareth, as Northampton still leads 3-2 with 11:31 left in the game. Cochran off the boards. Actually, that's Repitz with the pass. Here's Rodba, backhand! Oh, and another great save made by Jackson Toll. Not his best save of the night, but still a good one nevertheless. Now it's Walter, 2 goals on the night. Going for 3, and he couldn't get it to the net. Rodba makes a move on Mitchell Street, 2-on-1 to Repitz. Repitz back in front. Rodba scores! Beautiful plays! Repitz to Rodba and into the net. The Konkrete Kids up by 2 once again. 4-2 lead, Northampton. Derek Rodba, what a season he's had. 16th of the year. Northampton leads 4-2 with 11 minutes left in this one. For Rodba, he has had a point in every single game this season. A 15-game point streak to be exact. Every game. Excellent season as he's wearing the Travis Konechny number 11 tonight. Rodba had an assist in game one, and he had 2 goals and 2 assists against Parkland in the semifinals. So he's been on fire. 4-2 Northampton. Saints trying to keep their season alive. Northampton's out shooting the Saints 45-29. Toll turns over the puck there. Sorry, I didn't turn the camera there for a second. Dreamock on the corner. 10 minutes to go in the game. Saints trying to keep their season alive. Northampton, on the other hand, tried to end their season here. Raider falls down, got tangled up with a stick. Vedovitz racing for it here on the left side. Makes his own pass off the boards. Tosi racing for it. Anderka whacked at it. Tosi trying to check him down. Raider off the skate of Lyndon Murray. Trokim on the wing. Nice move. Trokim on the court. Check from behind from Anderko. And they keep the play going. Natosi saved by Austin Wolf. And the net is dislodged. We do keep playing on, though, as the official fixes it. Now it's back on its moorings. No icing. As the puck was deflected on its way. Wolf will clear it down off the glove of Raider on a legal play with his glove. Raider trying to get the puck right back. He does as he shanks it off the boards. Bloom and Raider collide with one another. And both get back up on their 2 feet. Walter on the wing. And Bloom trying to get to it there. Van Icky also had a piece. And we have an offsides here on the Saints. 8:48 to go in this game. It's been a heck of a Phantoms Cup, not just in varsity, but I think in all 4 divisions. Once again, Northampton won in JV last Thursday. Tonight we had Emmaus win in youth. And we had Northampton win in middle school. And perhaps we might see Northampton win in varsity, but we'll see if the Saints can come back to tie it. Here's Becker on the wing, and that shot goes off the glass. I don't think Toll got a piece of it. And back come the Saints once more. It's Bloom with 8.5 to go. Bloom ran into by Braun. Vanicki almost touched it. And almost receiving the pass was Rodbot. Mitchell Tree goes for it. Icing here on Northampton. And for the Saints, I mean, I don't want to say it's just yet because this game definitely is not over. But keep in mind for the Saints, this is the 4th time in 5 years they have made it here. They have yet to win a Phantoms Cup or a Scholastic title of any kind. At least in 2022 and 2024, they were able to get to a game 3 and have a chance to win it there as well. Last year, they were swept. And the other thing about the Saints, come to think of it, every finals they have made, including this one, they have been the underdogs. They've always played the number 1 seed. They played number 1 seed Southern Lehigh 2022, number 1 seed Northampton 2024, number 1 seed Bethlehem Nazareth last year, and this year they're playing the number 1 seed Konkrete Kids. This will be an icing on the Saints with 7:52 left on the clock. Dreamock and I think that's Tatum for the face-off. It is. Saints take it off the tie-up. Begley backhands one off the boards. Natosi ahead for Mitchell Tree. Forehand shot off the stick of Becker and out of play goes. Shots are going now 46-30. Konkrete Kids. Parker Tatum and Dreamock once again go on the face-off dot here. Off the draw, it's won by Northampton. Leifert intending for Rattler. Mitchell Trey will try to get to it. Icing will be called once again on Northampton with 7.5 left in the hockey game. As we are, I mean, even if the Saints come back to win this game, and we are getting closer and closer to the end of the 2026 Phantoms Cup, the 5th annual Phantoms Cup. 4th year we've had Varsity here. And I think, once again, this event has been a success. We've had some great hockey games here. Championship glory for some, others falling short. Good amount of people showing up to this free hockey event. And I think these kids, for the most part, have had a fun time. I'm not just talking about Konkrete kids. I'm talking about like these kids playing in general here at PPL Center. 7 minutes to go in the game, as the K kids still lead 4-2. Delayed offside on the Konkrete kids. Wiped off. Rodba takes the puck, but he lost control. Noah Fiva Natosi gets it right back. Natosi cuts into the zone. Left wing pass for a shot, saved by Austin Wolf. Vaguely with the rebound, that's blocked by Reppitz. It's still loose, chipped back to Rodba on a 1-on-2. He shoots it in as he crossed the red line. No icing here. Line change for the orange and black. 6.5 to go. Music. Intending for Natosi. Jacoby. Almost lost it. He did. Van Icky back hit, so he got the crossbar. Oh, that would have been another great play for Van Icky. He tried to go top side. Didn't even cross the goal line there, but he caught iron. The Saints hitting iron once again. They hit the post and the crossbar around about 3 times in the second period. They get another taste of bad luck there. Van Icky, Rattler trying to pressure him. Here's Dreamlock in the slot, wristing a shot. That's blocked by Rattler. Rattler falls down, and he's slow to get back up. I think he's laboring some kind of discover right now. He looks okay now. He'll take it behind the goal. Rattler centering. Walter takes it away, intercepted by Dreamlock, and a big stop by Tall as Walter slams his stick on the ice. Better be careful, Walter. Those sticks are overpriced already. You don't want to break one. But it does not snap there. Actually reminds me of a story when I went to the rinks at Shelton in Connecticut for the Empire Conference playoffs with my team, Kutztown. Junior defenseman Antonio Nella broke two of his only 6 he had with him for the trip in one game, which is very unfortunate. This puck is whacked in front of the blue paint for Braun. Couldn't get a shot to the net. Time being the main enemy for the Saints and being an ally for Northampton as the Konkrete kids up 4-2 with 5 minutes left in game 2. Tatum behind the goal, trying to set something up here. Looking for Natosi, couldn't hold on. Mitchell Trey trying to make a deke around Reppitz. He couldn't get past him. Now it's Grubbs at center, moving with decent speed. Grubbs right wing feed for a shot, and that went over the net. That chance was from Derek Rodba. Speaking of Rodba, he's being bodied there by Trokim. 4.5 left. Still stuck there on the corner. They let play continue. Comes free, and the Saints have possession. Braun from the dot there missed the net. And a collision on the boards. Natosi trying to get to it. Both teams trying to get possession. Now I'll go to Grubbs. Here's Natosi trying to get a step. Grubbs right behind him. Natosi whiffed on the shot. Grubbs made a good defensive play to body him there, preventing him from setting up on that breakaway. And we'll have an icing on Northampton with 3:51 left. I noticed some comments asking on who scored the goals for Northampton. I'll say it to you right now. Reppitz with the first, Jacoby with the second, Braun with the third, and Rodba with the fourth. Fair question to ask. Off this faceoff, Saints take it. Here's a shot for Robinson, and a save by Austin Wolf. I'll keep my eyes on Saints goaltender Jackson Toll, because I would think more than likely the Saints will probably have to pull him to get an extra attacker at some point. 3:36 and counting left in the game. Saints down by 2. Raider looking for Angelino. And Angelino will backhand it into the Saints zone. 3:23 and counting left. A player lost his glove that belongs to Angelino. It's his left glove. Meanwhile, to the outside is Walter. Walter lost possession. It goes to his best line mate, Van Icky. Vedovitz gets someone body on the glass there. Robinson tries to scoop it up. He rings it off the boards. Van Icky ran into by Nathan Ruff. And they'll skate for it back. Moving back the other way. This is Enderico. And he lost it. Time ticking down second by second here at PPL Center. The Saints trying to get one last gasp. They're down by 2 with 2:40 to go. Northampton trying to prevent them from getting a great comeback. Robinson dumping into the zone. Line change for the Saints. Off the side, and there, a good play made by Walter. He tried to get a tough angle shot there, but it would not work out. Radler on the wing. Over the line. Kills some time here for Northampton. Music off the boards. Tatum near the point. Dreamuck tips it on back to his line mate, Dolan. And the puck rolls back to center. 2-on-2. 2 minutes left. Here goes Tilla. Empty net for the Saints. They're down 4-2. Trying to keep their season alive. Bloom going right behind the net towards the dot. Bloom across to the right side for Trokem. Back behind the net, it goes to the left corner for the Tozy. Behind the net, Trokem. Actually, no, that was Fegley. Trokem is winning on the left dot, now going in front of the goal. 1:35 left. Saints still down 4-2. Northampton doing a great job killing some time, holding the puck on the board. That's good two-way hockey, if I do say so myself. It's Jacoby who was killing off most of that clock. 1:19 left. Northampton takes it away. This is Dolan at center. Chips it into the zone here. No icing. Trokem. Forehands one. He'll give it to the Tozy. Broken up there by Reppitz. And this is Braun. Falls down. And he'll give it to Reppitz with empty cage. He scores! Reppitz is second of the night and empty net goal. That's going to do it for the game and this series. 5-2 Konkrete Kids, less than a minute to go. And for the Saints, their season will come to an end. The second straight year they will have been swept in the varsity final. 4th time in the last 5 years they've made it here, but also for the 4th straight time, they are going to fall short of winning their first Scholastic title. Northampton, on the other hand, back on top of the mountain. They did not make the finals last year, losing to the Saints in the semifinal. They make it back to the dance. They're going to win their 3rd Phantoms Cup in 4 years, and they're going to win their 6th ever LVSHL Scholastic Championship. Angelino from center clears it down off the boards. 20 seconds left to go. Fretz, Benovitz, forehands one down to Rupi. Ben Rupi with Thomas on his wing and save made by Austin Wolf. For the 3rd time in 4 years and for the 6th time in team history, the Northampton Konkrete Kids are the LVSHL Phantoms Cup champions of 2026. Austin Wolf, the first Northampton goaltender to win a championship at varsity since Balin Smargiassi, played well all year long. He finishes the season with no losses, an overall record of 7-0-1. What a team for Northampton. An almost undefeated year for Northampton as their overall record will be 14-0-1, while They didn't get every win. They did not lose a single game all season. The Phantoms Cup and the old LVSHL championship trophy is being brought onto the ice now by Trevor Herrick. He's leaving it on the Northampton bench as we speak. And I give Northampton a hiatus for making the finals last year. They get back here. They've beaten the Saints in the finals for the second straight time. And for Northampton in the Phantoms Cup, 3 of their 4 teams made the playoffs. Their varsity team, their JV team, their middle school team, they all made the finals and they all won it all. Tall will leave the handshake line for the Saints, and Wolf will lead the handshake line for the Konkrete kids. Players for both sides have a few skaters that may have played their last games ever. We know some of them are done playing hockey, at least in the LVSHL, all having excellent careers here. Stats don't always tell the story of how much effort and time and passion they had to playing here in this league. The 2025-2026 LVSHL season closes its door when Northampton and Varsity winning their 3rd Phantoms Cup in 4 years. I'll keep the stream on so you guys can see the trophy presentation to Northampton. As well as I believe there's a second place trophy that goes to the Saints. I see an extra trophy next to the Phantoms Cup and Scholastic trophy. I remember for Southern Lehigh, they got some kind of reward for their making second place back in 2023. But what a Phantoms Cup, the 5th Phantoms Cup we've had here, another successful one, I would say, at least from what I can tell, being involved with this for the 4th year in a row. And you know, like covering this league the last few years, as time goes by, I've seen more and more players that I've watched since my first year leave, and even more leave after today. Guys like Dominic Natosi, Aiden Walter, Duncan Mitchell-Tree, to name a few. Those are the seniors I know for the Saints. I'm not sure who exactly is a senior for Northampton for this year, but I'm not going to just speculate who they are at this time. As Trevor Herrick is about to give Coach Brian Ruff the Phantoms Cup, as they have won it, rightfully so, for the 3rd time. It's their 3rd Phantoms Cup and their 6th Scholastic title. As Northampton has won it all in 1997, 2003, 2021, 2023, 2024, and 2026. As Angelino's the first to hoist the Phantoms Cup, they're going to get a trophy. Traditionally, when they get the classic Scholastic trophy, they hoist that thing around just like the Stanley Cup, because for these kids, this is their Stanley Cup. At least for today, it is. And here's a picture that I've said in every broadcast these last few years for teams winning it all here at PPL Center. They'll get a picture here and save this and cherish it for many years to come as the Saints are now leaving the ice. And now the Scholastic Trophy going to Angelino. And which, come to think of it, I wonder if they actually treat him as a captain, because Northampton does not have a captain this season. And I've actually seen this trophy up close before. They are not allowed to grab it by the top of the cup itself. There's a little laminated saying in there saying that they cannot touch it. They have to hold it from the bottom. And Austin Wolf will get it first here. He had a great playoffs, a great season. Again, first Northampton varsity goalie to win a championship since Balin Smargiassi. He Bailey won 2 straight. In 23 and 24, he's now in the U.S. Naval Academy. There's Rippets. He had an excellent game, too. 2 goals, one of them being the empty netter. And Dolan, who scored the first goal of game 1 of this series. And each player will get their chance to skate around with the Phantoms Cup. And compared to the other divisions winning the Phantoms Cup, the varsity team usually stays out here the longest, not only because, well, it's varsity winning a championship. It's a bigger deal than the other divisions, but also it is the last game of the night here at PPL Center and the last game of the LVSHL season. Dreamok, who's played as a goaltender in the past, as a skater or as a forward this year, gets it. And now the Phantoms Cup goes to Enrico. As they're going to cherish this one for a long time to come. I almost wonder if a lot of these players will even take off from school tomorrow. I mean, I wouldn't blame them if they did. Just want to enjoy this one. But they are the kings of the LVSHL once again. And you know, you look back in the history of this league, especially in varsity, you had Parkland winning 11 straight from 2010 to 2020. And then Northampton, at least for these last 5 years or so, have taken the rings over and over again. They've won the Scholastic Championship 4 of the last 6 years, the only exceptions being 2022 and 2025. But every time they've made it, the last 4 times, they have won it all, which is pretty remarkable. At least, like, if you're a team that makes it a lot, gets a championship or 2, that's something you cherish. But you win every single time. I mean, that is truly something special. And Desmond Murray, who won with JV the other day, gets a Scholastic Championship here as well. He did not play a single game with varsity this year, however, but he serves as a backup goalie today. As the players here for Northampton will take this in and enjoy this as much as they can. Final shots on net, 48-36, Northampton. As we'll keep the stream going for at least a little bit longer. And the Saints now, Northampton, they go 5-0 against the Saints all year. The Saints not beat the Konkrete Kids once this season. Closest they came was game 1 when Northampton won 2-1 in overtime. Almost wonder if there's going to be any videography of these games, because I saw a lot of cameramen here for this game as well as the whole Phantoms Cup. I'm not sure if they have some videos coming out of these games. Hopefully they do a good job, because they're all better cameras than I have. But the Phantoms have done yet another great job with this tournament. I personally want to thank the Scholastic League, I'd like to thank the Phantoms for allowing the Scholastic League to have these playoffs, because you know something, ever since we lost our main rink in the rink of Lehigh Valley in Whitehall, PA, the league has had less games in the regular season. It definitely put a dent in it, but in return, at least, like, instead of like having more games, we now have playoffs in a greater location. So that's great. We have this. And actually down in the future, Steel Ice Center, which already has 2 rings, is going to get a third. So who knows if we get games there in the future. But that's a question for another day. As now more and more players for Northampton getting their pictures with the Scholastic Trophy. They're going to enjoy this as long as they can. They've earned it. As they did not have a single loss this year. 14-0-1. The only game that wasn't a win was a tie earlier in the season. It wasn't earlier. It was late in the season, a 5-5 tie to a mess. But even though they technically didn't win every single game, I mean, come on. I mean, honestly, it's an undefeated season. They did not lose a single one. But at the end of the day, it doesn't entirely matter for team records. It just matters on getting that trophy and getting to call yourselves a champion of a league in a certain year. And for this, Northampton is the champions of the LVSHL for 2026. Varsity, JV, middle school, and not youth. Or youth team did not make the playoffs this year. And to go over Northampton's success over this year, 3 of their 4 teams won the Phantoms Cup. In 2025, 3 of their 4 teams also won the Phantoms Cup. Their elementary, middle school, and JV team. In 2024, 3 of their 4 teams won the Phantoms Cup. Their youth, middle school, and varsity team. 2023, 2 of their 4 teams won. Their JV and varsity team. And then 2022, when their varsity team was not allowed to be here yet, their JV team won a Phantoms Cup here. So now so if you count all the Northampton teams over the years, they now have 12 Phantoms Cups. That is incredible stuff for all Northampton hockey in general. I'm Nicholas Garofalo. Thank you for joining us for another edition of Nick's Hockey Broadcast in the 2026 Phantoms Cup Final. I appreciate for the Phantoms for allowing me to broadcast this tournament for the 4th straight year. I must admit, I know last year I was saying I was not going to come back to the league, but things changed, and I do not regret getting involved for the finals for all 4 divisions this year in youth, in middle school, and JV, and varsity. And for the Saints, I just want to say, if you guys hear this, I know I'm feeling for you guys. Rough that you lost in the finals yet again, but be proud that you guys got here. And I wish Jack Piper nothing but the best. I'm sure that he's proud of the fact that this team played for him and each other throughout this entire year. Thanks to the Phantoms again for allowing me this chance to call games here. It's always a pleasure to call games in here. I had a great internship here last year. 4th straight year I broadcasted in this building. It's not just a pleasure to call games in the league, but I mean, this facility, PPL Center, it's beautiful. I mean, built in only 2014. It's one of the coolest hockey venues I've had the chance to broadcast here the last several years. So I'm going to be signing off here, and I wish you guys nothing but the best in their futures, and I'm referring to the players graduating or anyone watching this stream. I wish you guys nothing but the best. Thank you for watching this hockey broadcast. Final score, Northampton 5, the Saints 2 shots in net, 48-36. Northampton, as the Konkrete Kids have won their 3rd Phantoms Cup and 6th Scholastic Championship. Good night, good hockey. Northampton wins 5-2. And that ends the 25-26 LVSHL season.